have lots of friends.
The children who attend our Catholic schools are both precious and vulnerable. As Christians, we believe each one of them is made in the image and likeness of God. And with this in mind, it's clear that we have a significant responsibility in educating every one of our students to reach their God-given potential. Creating a safe and nurturing school environment is critical to our endeavours. No matter what role we hold, teacher, groundsperson, school board member, executive director, every one of us has the responsibility to protect children.
The most important thing in student protection is that staff in schools understand their obligations, both under legislation but also in terms of their expectation as professionals who are working with students. My role works very closely with all the principals in schools, but I'm also involved in facilitating and coordinating all student protection training for all staff in schools. We are further developing our important relationships with our critical stakeholders, including the Child Protection Investigation Unit with Queensland Police Service, Headspace, Department of Communities, Child Safety and Disability Services, and Family and Child Connect. The relationship that we have with these other professionals assists the work that we do in our schools to keep our children safe.
So reporting and making sure a child is well protected, I think is my core business, to be honest. The system that CathEd has got is very supportive in that role. There are people that you can sound ideas off to before you process forward. They help you if there's paperwork to be done, and they are incredibly supportive, I guess is the correct word, of you coming and opening up and having that discussion and then making the decision as a bit of a team, I guess, to where do we go next. The next phase is really well handled, I think, with counsellors and other people outside of the sphere of teaching who have a lot more knowledge and a lot more expertise that can advise me, an experienced teacher, but a new teacher perhaps, on where to go with this. Does it need to be reported? And in a lot of cases, thank you, you give me the report and I can process it on to the official authorities from here.
The legislation is changing all the time, and so it's really important that everyone is aware about the changes in child protection, and that's everyone in schools, it's to parents, it's volunteers, and child protection is everyone's business, so it's really important that we do keep them informed and up to date with what's going on.
So in the Townsville CPIU we work closely with our regional areas, such as, and we do investigations and assist our Charters Towers out to Hewenden, Richmond, Ingham and over on Palm Island. CPIU stands for Child Protection and Investigation Unit. We're a division of the Queensland Police Service and we investigate all offences committed against children and committed by children. Student protection is important. Every child obviously has the right to feel safe. And student protection, especially in schools, is vital. So in terms of child abuse, it doesn't just come in a kid presenting with bruising. It's a range of different concerns. For example, sexting, cyberbullying, these types of things, they have just as much of a detrimental effect as someone being assaulted. The main issues we come across are questions amongst staff themselves as to when they should be reporting and what they should be reporting. My advice is to speak to your student protection officer to have those ongoing conversations. If you do have concerns, we liaise regularly with that officer and we can sort through any problems or any questions.
Student protection is a very important matter for teachers. It's the foundation of building appropriate relationships with students. We have a professional obligation to parents to reassure them that we're knowledgeable in the processes of mandatory reporting, recognising instances where it might be necessary to make a report, but primarily having that training and that background enables us to form relationships that are based on mutual respect with students and families.
I know about the safe people because our teacher explains the process to us. She explains it to us like you can go to them if you're having any safety issues or if anyone's doing anything to you. At school, every classroom has a poster on their door of the safe people.
When children arrive at our school, I want them to come in feeling safe, feeling welcomed, knowing that they've got a day where there are friends in the school, also that there are adults there to help them, and hopefully they'll learn as well during the course of the day.
Our principal tells us in an assembly that we have safe people at school and they will support us, and we can tell other teachers about if we're feeling lonely, if we're feeling bullied, if we're feeling like all of that and feeling sad, we can tell about it to the safe people.
If my friend and me were playing on the playground and one of them say to me, I'm not feeling safe at school, we could go tell Mrs. Downey or Mrs. Lavelle.
One of the reasons my husband and I chose a Catholic school is because they don't just focus on the academic development, they focus on the whole child. I trust that the Catholic education system is providing a safe environment where my kids can learn and develop.
Kids react differently at different stages of the day, so I think at Tuck Shop you sort of will notice if they're coming through and either not eating healthily or hanging around kids trying to get money off people and you ask them if they have lunch and they'll say no, so you're constantly just keeping an eye on who's here all the time and who's not, and kids who just look a bit lonely when they're out there. You think, wow, you don't think about that because you've always kept your kids safe from that situation and you don't put your children into that situation, but other kids don't have that upbringing, and it's important for the people not in their family to be that role for them.
As an engagement officer, student protection is something that I look at as very important because I'm also liaising with the family. And coming from a boarding school, it's very important to liaise with the families how we're protecting their students, how we're keeping their students safe, because for most of the year they're with us, they're not at home.
Child protection, I think, is everyone's responsibility, and there has been an increased awareness of child abuse and protection issues across Australia and including Townsville and North Queensland. So community engagement with schools and the wider community is really important in addressing issues such as child protection and domestic violence, where I think there's a whole of community response is needed in terms of making people aware that there is a problem and what they can do to prevent and be part of the solution.
It's really important that staff feel comfortable with the process and are very familiar with the process, so that the process is enabled accurately and effectively. The relationship between schools and the families of the students at our schools is paramount. Without that trust, the whole relationship will break down and we're back at square one. It is imperative that that relationship is ongoing, that it is supportive, and that there is a way forward at all times. I believe that information is key. I think that parents feel that if they are far better informed, then they can make far better decisions for their children. Catholic schools understand their legal obligations under the Child Protection Act. We educate and nurture the whole child and put their social emotional well-being at the forefront of what we do, and I believe that is part of the Catholic school difference.